We finally have had a journalist who was at the Team USA scrimmages talking a little bit about how Caitlin Clark as an individual got on. So, if you guys didn't see, it is a Fever Insider podcast from Indie Star. It is Chloe Peterson, Brian Hanshin, and Annie Costable. Obviously, Annie was there.
Thus, we were able to see Team USA's training camp for the first time. And the story took off right away. Caitlin Clark had a rusty appearance. She was outplayed by Paige Bueckers. Paige was referred to by Jackie Young as the camp's top young talent. The takes came right away. The conclusions were drawn too soon. Additionally, practically none of them understood the true significance of those behaviors. This is what really counts. One of the only real basketball journalists permitted to attend these sessions was Annie Costable of the Indianapolis Star. 20 minutes. At the conclusion of the first and second days of a 3-day camp, it was all the media had. 20 minutes to watch the world's top players, most of whom are worn out and some of whom are recovering from injuries, all of whom are attempting to figure out how to play as well as they can.
Even Sue Bird said it, even kind of she said it herself, where it's like, she's not, like she's 100% healthy, but she's not 100%. And I think a lot of people are like making a point being like, oh, Jackie Young said that Paige Bueckers was the best young player. And it's like, well, I'd be a bit disappointed if, as far as, first of all, when it comes to Jackie Young, she's a guard. Guards hype up guards, forwards hype up forwards. It's always the case. I would be very concerned if Paige Bueckers was not playing better than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's basically been injured for...
At this point, let's discuss the true meaning of conditioning. During the broadcast coverage, Sue Bird stated it herself. Although she is in good health, Caitlin Clark is not fully recovered. Additionally, casual fans are unaware of the stark differences between those two concepts. It has been months since Caitlin last played competitive basketball. She spent the entire second part of the previous season recovering from an ankle ailment. She gutted out performances while obviously compromised, persevered through it during the playoffs, and eventually received the much-needed time off her body. Being in game shape is not the same as that. That is not the same as regaining your timing. That is unquestionably not the same as being prepared to compete in a high-intensity training camp setting against the world's greatest players. This is the point at which Paige Bueckers' analogy is utterly absurd. Paige looked better, of course. She should look better now. Paige has been in good health. She has been having fun. She has been rhythmic. That would be the real story if Paige wasn't outperforming a rusty Caitlin Clark in a 3-day program. For Team USA's depth at the guard position, that would be seriously troubling.
Miss that amount of time. It doesn't take time to get out of her rust. And that's the thing. When it comes to the WNBA season, Caitlin's going to be playing. She's going to be doing multiple of these camps. She's going to be doing multiple of these camps. And she's also going to be playing in the Team USA games in March, in their training camp games. So by the time the season starts, then we can actually make talk about something, because at the end of the day, I would say
this is the fact that no one wants to discuss. The quality of women's basketball would be unprecedented if Caitlin Clark, who had essentially been disabled for a year, turned up for this camp and was the top player right away. That would imply that there is a serious problem with the WNBA's competitive environment. After months off, you don't just show up to a national team training camp and start dominating. That is not how it operates. That is not how it has ever worked. Because you are surrounded by athletes who are all at the pinnacle of their skills, these camps are purposely made to be taxing. You are unable to remove belongings. You are unable to coast. All of the players on that floor dreamed of donning that they will compete as if their careers depended on wearing a USA jersey. Just the conditioning part is cruel. You cannot comprehend the intensity if you have never been a member of a national team. It's not like a typical practice where you can stop for a few plays to regain your breath and allow your body to heal. You're playing both with and against the people you looked up to as a child. You are vying for playing time, roster positions, and the respective coaches who will decide your future in international basketball. The physical and mental tiredness is unmatched in the sport.
According to Annie Costable, Caitlin Clark looks healthy, but isn't 100%. As in, you can tell that she's rusty, but it's not like she's, in terms of her movement and everything, You can tell that she absolutely is going to be is 100% right. It's not like last year where she says she's 100% healthy and she's not, that she looks 100% healthy out there. Apparently the shot is...
Let's now discuss the Jackie Young case, as many people don't fully get what transpired there. Paige Bueckers was the greatest young player in camp, according to Jackie Young. And the fans of Caitlin Clark went crazy right away. Here are certain things you should know about how basketball players discuss one another, though. Guards excite other guards. Forwards become excited about forwards. This is how things have always been. There isn't a plot against Caitlin. Jackie Young is not picking sides in a fictitious feud. It's a guard praising another guard for a job well done. That's all. More significantly, though, let's examine what Jackie Young's career path truly reveals about player growth at this level. Jackie Young averaged 6 points per game at the age of 22. She averaged 11 at age 23. She scored 12 points a game at the age of 24. It wasn't until she was 25 or 26 years old that she became into the player she is now, the one that scored 32 points in a championship game. Both Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark are 23 years old. Jackie Young didn't perform at the same level as them until years later. And that's not a slight to Jackie Young, who is a fantastic player and deserves to be considered for starting guard positions on Team USA. It provides background for comprehending the developmental stage of these young athletes.
That is really interesting, and this is my favorite thing about it, is that, you know, Annie Costabile, who, again, look, this is somebody who actually is a basketball journalist. She's not one of these weird people that don't give a damn about the sport and just want to push narratives. That she was saying basically that it's clear that the Caitlin versus Paige isn't a thing. That there's all these camps, they're trying to see how they play together. That Caitlin versus Paige, they're not competing against each other. That they're trying to see how Caitlin and Paige can play at the same time.
The true story comes from what Annie Costabile actually reported from inside such practices. Caitlin Clark appears to be in good health and has decent movement. It's her shot. Her demise is precisely what one would anticipate from Caitlin Clark. Yes, she is rusty, but she hasn't given up. There is no need to worry about any residual injuries. When it comes down to it, there is no doubt that she will be prepared. Then Annie made a statement that ought to have made headlines everywhere, but for some reason it was overshadowed by all the controversial opinions on who looked better in 20 practice windows. Team USA isn't debating who should start, Paige or Caitlin. They're not holding a contest to decide who should get the position. They are attempting to understand how Paige and Caitlin play together. Consider the implications of that. The coaching staff and Kara Lawson are not inquiring as to which is superior. They are utilizing these camps to determine the best approach to deploy them together, presuming both are competent enough to be on the floor at the same time. The question that everyone has been debating online is entirely different from that one.
Like, they are, at 23 years old, they are way too close. Like, they are way too good at 23 that they're not eventually going to be at the top level. Like, if you look at, say, a Jackie Young, Jackie Young is, for me, Jackie Young's the only guard that has an opportunity, who has a chance of maybe start. I still think the three of them should start, but there is a possibility that Jackie Young starts over one of Caitlin or Paige. There's a possibility that, to not piss people off, they don't start either of them. But let's just say for argument's sake, Jackie Young is the only guard, in my opinion, that you can argue is better than Caitlin Clark or Paige Bueckers.
It's not what social media believes Team USA cares about. So let's discuss what they truly care about. Their objective is to take home a gold medal from Germany. That is the top priority. Growing the game is the second priority, which USA Basketball has always taken seriously as an organization. They are aware of their platform. They are aware of the opportunity. This is the aspect of playing internationally that virtually eliminates the need to discuss the starting lineup. Starting and playing for 6 minutes is very acceptable. Someone coming off the bench, averaging 5 minutes per game for 3 games, and then sporadically playing 25 minutes in a pivotal game is entirely typical because the coaching employees discovered a particular benefit they can take use of. Roles on Team USA are flexible due to the team's exceptional potential. You are not constrained by a strict rotation in which bench players receive trash time and starters play 30 minutes. Each member of that team has the ability to dominate a game. Each member of the roster have unique abilities that make them useful in particular circumstances. It is the responsibility of the coaching staff to determine which combinations are most effective against which opponents. Therefore, when people debate whether Caitlyn or Paige should take the lead, they are debating a much less important issue than they realize. What counts is how well they can play together. What is important is whether their abilities complement one another. What counts is whether Team USA can gain an advantage over foreign opponents by having both of them on the floor at the same time.
Clark and Paige Beckers are, well, Paige 24 now. But at 23 years old, Jackie Young averaged 6.6 points per game. At 24 years old, Jackie Young averaged 11 points per game. She averaged 12 points per game at 25 years old. Was it? Sorry, at 24 years old, she averaged 12 points per game. At 23 years old, she averaged 11. She averaged 6 at 22 years old. So you're looking at Paige and Caitlyn, who are...
This is the truth about the backcourt of Paige Buehr and Caitlyn Clark. It will occur. I believe it should be the starting lineup for this Olympic cycle, but maybe not. It might not happen with both of them playing 30 minutes a game, but it will happen and it will be dominating. They are 23 years old. They are already competing at a level that places them among the world's top guards, and they will only grow better. The Caitlyn and Paige backcourt will be the cornerstone of Team USA for the ensuing 10 years, whether it is 2026, 2028, or 2030. Their games are a wonderful match. Paige is more comfortable playing, more plug-and-play, and more system-adaptable. Away from the ball. Caitlyn is the playmaker, the motor, and the person who improves everyone around her with her passing and her shooting range's ability to warp defenses. When you combine them, you get two guards that are capable of scoring on all three levels. They both produce for other people. When locked in, both provide excellent defense. Additionally, both possess the basketball IQ necessary to make the correct decision in every circumstance. And this is what people continue to overlook. The only other guard in the WNBA who you can honestly claim is superior to both of them at the moment is Jackie Young. Not Jewel Lloyd, not Sabrina, not Kelsey Plum. Based on what she's done in that conversation, Jackie Young is the only person present. You may make a compelling argument that, in spite of the injury, Caitlyn's 2024 season was superior to everything Jackie has ever accomplished in major games, the playoffs, the finals, and even alongside Jackie.
Simultaneously, they mesh. They do mesh well. And that's the thing where it's like, Paige is definitely more plug and play. But like Paige, Jackie, Caitlyn, the three of them at the same time, the three of them, two of them on the floor at the same time, is going to be near unstoppable. But the goal of Team USA's camp is not to find out which of Caitlyn Clark or Paige Beckers is starting. It's about finding out how we can win a World Cup. And realistically, what you want is you want Caitlyn Clark and Paige Beckers on at the same time. And I think everybody realistically should be
It's not about identifying the best player at the moment, so let's bring everything together and discuss what these training camps are really for. It's not about making Caitlyn and Paige compete with each other. It's not about creating stories for social media or making headlines. The goal of these programs is to develop chemistry. They have to do with calculating rotations. They focus on figuring out which lineups are effective against zone defenses, which combinations can take advantage of transition mismatches, and which players have the strongest defensive team communication. The coaching team is gathering data that will help them make judgments in the coming months, when the games themselves are crucial. Caitlyn Clark is attending several camps prior to the Olympics. In March, she will participate in the exhibition games. She will practice with this group dozens of times. She will be at her best by the time the team arrives in Germany. She will be fully connected into whatever system Team USA chooses to use, and her time will be restored. Naturally, she appeared rusty during the first session in January following months off. Paige looked better, of course. Naturally, athletes who have been playing and in good health appeared more at ease. That is not a narrative. That is not debatable. When you're recovering from an injury and trying to establish your rhythm against the world's top players, that's exactly how basketball works. The narrative is that Team USA is astute enough to see that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bucker's cooperation is essential to their future at guard. They're not attempting to choose one. They are attempting to determine how to optimize both. And if you're a supporter of Team USA and you genuinely care about winning gold medals, you should want them to concentrate on that. Because this is the reality that no one wants to express publicly. Paige and Caitlin together on the floor will be practically unstoppable. When Jackie Young is included, you have 3 guards who are all capable of handling, shooting, passing, and defending. International tournaments are won by teams with that level of guard depth. That's the kind of adaptability that enables you to adapt to any defensive strategy, any playing style, and any circumstance. Therefore, the question isn't which of Caitlin and Paige is superior. What is the best way to use them in tandem? And that's precisely what Team USA is currently attempting to ascertain. Everything else is merely noise from folks who don't comprehend what they're seeing or the original purpose of these camps. The story of Caitlin and Paige is a fabricated drama. It is not genuine. The coaches don't give a damn. The players don't care about it. Furthermore, it won't be the deciding factor for who gets on the roster, starts, or plays the most minutes. Fit is what counts. Chemistry is what counts. Whether having both of them on the floor generates the kind of offensive firepower that renders Team USA unbeatable is what counts. And the answer is definitely affirmative based on all we know about their games, how their skills complement one another, their basketball IQs, and their capacity to improve teammates. Definitely. For the next 10 years, Caitlin and Paige will form the cornerstone of Team USA's guard rotation. This camp is only the beginning of determining how to make that effective. Therefore, don't worry about who performed better in the 20 minutes of practice tape. Put an end to fabricating rivalries between 2 athletes who will be teammates for many years. Imagine what it would look like when they are both fully integrated into the system, at full strength, and in top condition. Because Team USA will become really dangerous at that point.